Welcome to the Speedrun. So this is GNU Emacs out of the box, but you don't want to use this to make this. And the reason is because as a new user, you want to put a lot of information in front of yourself even when you're not looking. If I'm trying to run a command out of the Emacs menu, I want to see the key sequence and I want to see the first line of the docstring. If I'm about to look up a variable, I want to see the current value and all the related variables from the same package. When I'm looking for eLisp functions that are not commands, I want to see the docstring and I want to see all the functions that are similar in that package. When I'm looking for anything and I don't quite know the name, I want to be able to search out of order. When I visit a file, I want Emacs to remember it in my recent file list. When I'm searching through my buffers, I want to accidentally see buffers that make things work behind the scenes. When I describe a function, I want to see the source and I want to see if there's a corresponding section in the manual. I want all the things that I've searched for in the past to be first in my completions. I want my bookmarks to be remembered. I want my window management to be sane. This is a sampling of the settings that are easy for experienced Emacs users to fit together, but you need to discover in order to set them up on your own. And discovering these things when it's not volunteering to walk in front of you and say, hey, here I am, it can take a lot more time. So what do? This is where Emacs starter kits come in, of which there are many. The first starter kit I'm going to look at is Doom, which is more than a starter kit, but it's appropriate for new users, so we can call it a starter kit. As an experienced Emacs user, when I look at a Doom user's config, I can basically understand what's going on. The concepts are all present in regular Emacs. The macro names are a little bit different, but I can read the code. It's not that foreign, but it is a configuration layer. It's an abstraction on top of a bunch of settings. And remember, configuration doesn't scale. Doom packages can feel a little bit more rigid over time. But if you overstated your resume and you need to be a Rust engineer on Monday, Doom is the ticket. The next one I'll mention is Crafted Emacs from System Crafters. It's sort of a toolkit to put together an Emacs pretty quickly. It's almost as easy as Doom, but it tries to stay a little bit more true to the vanilla concepts of Emacs. If you're coming over from Vim or NeoVim and your first priority is being comfortable with your bindings, check out Emacs Kick. And lastly, I'll mention that Prot maintains a minimal Emacs configuration. It's short, it's nice, it's not a lot to learn. Remember the init directory option. You can have more than one config. So here I am running Doom Emacs, my regular Emacs, Dmacs, my minimal Emacs, and regular out-of-the-box GNU Emacs. Is Lim an Emacs? It's an Emacs. The point is that you want to have more than one config because what really stalls people down is that they get hesitant, they don't want to try new things, they're afraid of breaking what already works. And then it's also kind of annoying when you break your Emacs and now you have to fix Emacs without Emacs. When you need to debug something by comparing with stock Emacs behavior but you don't want to be blinded at night, it's good to have a minimal configuration around that's your backup. I use Ivy and Counsel in my regular Emacs, I use Vertico and Consult in my Dmacs. That means I'm trying out new packages with zero disruption. Remember the init directory option. You can have more than one config. Just alias it to different commands and you don't even have to remember. So now you have a serviceable Emacs that makes you learn things incidentally. The first thing I want you to learn is Alt-X or Meta-X. It's usually bound to execute extended command. The couple of command names you need to remember are find file, save buffer, and save buffers kill terminal. No, just run restart Emacs. Take a look at a cheat sheet, but mainly focus on the names because you can find them in Meta-X and you can see the bindings right there. Before you go too far, you definitely want to check out the glossary just so that you know what things are called so that you can search for those commands. One of the most important things to figure out for these first few days is how to move around balance S expressions. Lisp programmers do not move back and forth between the opening and closing parenthesis manually. We use specific commands like forward or backward SXP or backward uplist, and some of us use tools like Lispy that have modal bindings whenever the point is in a structural position. Almost everybody runs show paren mode, and almost everybody runs check parens in the save buffer hook. Lisp programmers do not count parentheses. They do not move around S expressions manually. I'm going to leave you with 3 commands to try out. Eval last S expression, IELM, and info display manual, and I want you to check out the eLisp manual, especially the syntax. My personal minimal Emacs that's called Dmacs I'm maintaining on my GitHub. We'll catch up in the next episode on use package, evaluation, and syntax. Peace.
It's done!